Welcome to the training guide for February group training from Okanagan Peak Performance. Piggybacking off of what we did in January, where we were tracking individuals' check-in process to see if they can come in 150 to 200 times in a year. We're going to implement a partner check-in for February, kind of playing off the Valentine's Day. So we would still have people in their individual slots, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, but these people will be paired up. And then at the end of the month, we'll add up their individual totals for a group total for potential prizes and everything like this. So the idea here is to still ensure that people are still coming in a ton of times, but now they have someone else that they can sort of hold accountable, their gym buddy, as it were, to make sure that they're coming in enough so that their team total can be increased as much as possible. The tracking sheet, we'll go over these exercises as we hit them individually. But the tracking sheet for February for workout A is just gonna be a bike or row, whichever one they pick. If they switch back and forth, it's less than ideal. Try to keep them to do the bike or the row for all 3 rounds, and then we total it up. Here we would circle which one they did, bike or row, and then we could just add up the total distances here. For workout B, they're gonna be doing a bench press, so we have on their best set in week 1, what was their load, how many reps. They try to beat that in week 2, rather. So again, weeks going across here. C, bench burpees. Again, to see how many they can do. Obviously, a burpee has to be burpee. They have to go all the way to the kick out to the top of the push-up position and actually jump off the ground when they come up. But again, how many can they do in each individual round, and total that up. For workout D, it's for their swings. They have to do 15 swings times 3 times in a round, and then we just mark down which color or how many kilograms that kettlebell was. And for the prone row, just like the bench press here, we're just going to track their best set for the reps that they need to achieve, which is in the 8 to 12 range, or 15. Their best set, what was the load, how many reps. Fairly simple. Workout A is pretty much just a big circuit. I call it the 2-minute warning. Super Bowl happens in this month, so it's a good football reference. We can see for rounds 2 to 4, they're actually going to be doing each thing for 2 minutes, so that's hence the 2-minute warning. We put them in sort of different stations. So there's 4 different stations. You can also call it like the 2x4 workout, because there's 2 minutes at 4 different stations. Station 1 is push-up and dumbbell row. They do 8 to 15 reps of each, and they can go back and forth between those two during the 2 minutes. Station 2 is landmine press, landmine squat, so left, right arm, and then the squatting process, going back and forth. Again, the goal is to be sort of more strength orientated, so they won't get more than 2 rounds in for sure, because again, especially up on this one, this is a unilateral exercise, as is this one, so each time they got to go through 3 different exercises. Even one time through is kind of more what we're going for, and what kind of weight they can use. Station 3 is bike or row. This is the one that we're going to sort of track. This is a mistake here. You're not going to do 8 to 15 reps, but it's in those 2 minutes. What kind of distance can we cover? And then station 4 right afterwards is a plank series, where we'll just set a side timer going for 30 seconds at a time, where they start on a side plank, they go to a front plank, they go to another side plank, and they end on a glute bridge. They can do this in whatever order they want, but they're just trying to transition from 30 seconds from one to the next. For round 1, you're only going to be doing a 60-second round, so this one has to be about like 15 seconds at a time, or you can just do this 2 side planks. We don't really necessarily need to warm up the front and the glute bridge. But so round 1 is a warm-up round. Make sure that you enforce that, because there is no sort of athletic warm-up. This is the entire workout. So round 1 is try to get a feel for the exercise, get an idea of what kind of weights they want to do. So again, only 1 round, 4 stations. But rounds 2 through 4 are 2 minutes on, 45 seconds rest, but you have 3 rounds of those same 4 stations. And again, you're going to sort of see after each round, do they want to increase the load on their dumbbell row or the landmine press or landmine squat as they go through. So we got 2 sort of strength orientated exercises, 1 cardiovascular one, and then a plank, which is somewhat of a recovery one after this one. So the layout for this one can be pretty easy. Obviously our landmines are going to happen over here or over here. The dumbbell row and push-up can happen relatively anywhere, and then we have the bikes all the way all the way over here, and the rowers over here. So we got station 1 here. Let's say we're going to do our push-ups and our dumbbell or kettlebell rows over here. Then we have the landmine presses over here, and then the plank series, just put them wherever people aren't, but probably right here is probably good if you can have this sort of area, and then keep an eye on the people doing the landmine press exercises. Workout B is a classic 3-period workout. So we have this athletic circuit where we're going to pair up the 1A and 1B together, since they're left and right side. Same with the 2A, 2B, and here. So we got 2 rounds of this at 30-15, total of 9 minutes, no break in between. The strength circuit is what I call Can I Get a Spot? Again, February, partner, Valentine's Day, kind of stuff like that. So them and a partner are going to go through each of these stations where they have 90 seconds to perform the station, or they have 90 seconds for them both to perform the station, and they get 30 seconds to go to the next one, to the next one. So the bench press, we can either use the dumbbells or the straight bars. One person goes, and then the other person goes. What I have here is each person goes once. So they're not going to be doing to the point where they'll do like a 1-rep max where each guy can kind of go a couple times. But one person does a set, the other person quickly gets in there, they do a set. If they end up going over, that's fine. We have a 30-second kind of long kind of break here. And if the person who goes last on this station here is probably going to be the person that goes last on the next station, so they'll have their recovery time. But for station 2, for the pull-ups, obviously we're going to be using, ideally, sort of progressing people towards bodyweight ones, even if it's only one. But we'll have people sort of help spot them or use the bands. But each person can probably go twice. So if someone can only do 2 pull-ups, that person's going to do 2. The other person, maybe they try to do 2. But then that'll give them enough time within that 90-second time frame for each person to probably go another time. So you in this one, you get to go twice. You got to be fairly quick. Ideally, you can teach people how to spot each other rather than having to use the bands, even if it's only for a couple reps. But you're only going to be kind of going for upwards of like 5 to 8 reps. If someone can do more than that, then we can put the vest on them. Station 3, the Swiss ball leg curl. So one person goes, the other person is just really there to really enforce that they keep their hips up as high as they can. This is an excruciating exercise when it's done 100% correctly. So the other person is there to ensure that it's being done properly. I also forgot to mention you can use a horizontal row, inverted row for the pull-ups if you have someone who's just uncomfortable with them. And during the partner ones, we have our kettlebell relay, bike, rope, and rower. It's an I go, you go. One person goes for 45 seconds, the other person goes off for 45 seconds. I put a 5 seconds for transition time, so this station won't last too long. Again, due to the 1-to-1 ratio, you got to really push for high intensity. We can look at, for the bike, we can look at wattage. Rope, we can look at the wave height, and rower for the distance, and the kettlebell relay I'll explain in 1 second. So for the layout for the athletic circuit here, it's all going to happen kind of in this area. So you've got a lateral TRX squat, so we're obviously going to be here, but this is going to be a busy spot because you're also going to have the narrow stance 1-arm band presses happening from here, and then the glute bridge alternating side plank can happen right in this area. So you can set yourself up right here and have a view on everybody. For the second station, again, it's this one is going to be pretty easy, where we're going to have maybe 1 bench here. We can use the second one if we need to, or just dumbbells is another one. We're going to be right here. Obviously, we're doing pull-ups here, and then the Swiss ball leg curls right there. For the final station for the conditioning, the I go, you go, obviously the bike and the rower are easy to set up. They can go here, they can go there. The rope we'll put up along this side so it's not in anybody's way. But the kettlebell relay, so what you're going to do is we'll have a mark here, and a mark here is the 10 yards apart. We'll start with all the kettlebells down here, 1 of each color. So let's say I've got a red, orange, green, purple, yellow, blue, and pink one. Within those 45 seconds, if I start with the heaviest one and I got to run it down, put it down, watch out for the tile. We don't have to break the tile. Put it down. We can even put one of the plyo boxes out there as you got to be able to put it down on there. Run back empty-handed, get the next heaviest one, come back. So if let's say I bring four of them down, then my partner's job is to see if he can get all 4 of them back within that time, or even beat me by sort of bringing one over to here. So you can make it a bit of a challenge within themselves, and you let the people pick. Kind of like, you got to have somewhat of a kind of a heavy one, but I would say males, like, again, one of each color would be great. Females, maybe they start at the green one and go from there, but in 45 seconds it's gonna be tough to get more than probably to get each color down there, but that's the challenge. C, this is the big circuit. Again, we've got all of our 8 exercises. So again, the setup is important for this one because you just have them all in one spot. I'll show you how to do that in the next one. But we're just going to play around with it, where for rounds 1 and 3, we do the 30-15 style, and for rounds 2 and 4, the 60-31. Only other thing to note of is switch every 5 reps on the hip toss. So they do 5 hip tosses on one side, then they spin around, they do 5 on the other, and they just keep going back and forth for either the 30 or 60 seconds. For the layout of the big circuit, it's going to be a big S shape. We're going to start over here with the bikes. We can do the planks right in that same area. These people can fan off the person that's doing the bike. We got the hip toss against the wall over here. Medicine ball slam can be in this area here. The rope we want to have come along here versus here in front of the Kaiser and everything like that. So we're going to have the rope come along here. After that, your glute bridge is going to be in this corner over here, followed by the TRX row, and then the burpees you can do off this bench here. So again, it kind of comes here, through there, back here again, and then you got to make a diagonal from there. Workout D, 3-period workout, 3 distinct periods. Athletic circuit, fairly simple, 5 stations. We got skipping and medicine ball slams, which are the real metabolic heart pumpers on these ones, and then we got 2 stretches, the deep squat stretch and the stony stretch right afterwards, and then a dowel hinge. The dowel hinge is important because of the fact that we're doing a lot of swings in this circuit, so really try to really hone in on that movement pattern for people and let them know why we're doing it because of that. So for this strength circuit, this one's set up where I'll get into the exercise in a second, but if we go over here to the timing, you get 240 seconds on, so that's 4 minutes. So they go 4-minute stations with a minute off in between, and then they're just going to repeat that for 15 minutes. Don't read this 3x3. It should be 4x3 here. So 4 minutes on times 3 rounds. So at the top of every 4 minutes, they're going to try to complete this list of exercises as many times as they can. You're not going to get more than twice. So they do 15 swings. Right across the top here, I'll demonstrate, or I'll talk about this. So if someone can't do swings, they can either do bodyweight squats or band pull-throughs, but the same sort of idea applies where they do 15 swings, they do 5 walkouts. 15 swings, 5 TRX rows with a pause at the top. 15 swings, 5 push-ups with a pause at the bottom. 15 swings followed by a get up and get down. So this isn't a Turkish get up, this is just them standing. They got to go all the way to the ground where they're laying on the ground like a corpse, and then come back up. That's 1. It doesn't matter how many times or in what manner they do it, they just need to go up and down 5 times. So we got 60 swings per round like that, and if they get through this in like 2 minutes, and then they can kind of start again. But at the 4 minutes, everyone stops, everyone gets that full 1 minute rest, and then we start from the top again, and we go down again. So when we do the swings, we're going to be playing around with, again, each round, maybe they can go up in terms of the weight that they can do, and we'll track that. Finally, we have the gauntlet, where again we just have people do 3 different stations followed by a rest, and I'll cover that one in a second here for the layout. So for this round here, we've got for the athletic round, we've got skipping, which can happen anywhere. Deep squat stretch, put them close to a post or even a wall or something like that if people need to have that stability to be up against something, so that they can kind of get more of an actual stretch. The dowel hinge can really happen anywhere. Medicine ball slam can happen anywhere. The only one we're restricted by is the stony stretch, where we have to have the TRXs. So as long as you're not really anybody's way, you can kind of lay this one however you want. For this station where you go swings, walkout swings, TRX rows, swings, push-ups, and everything like this, everything can be done pretty much anywhere the person wants except for the TRX rows. So for the most part, we're going to have people lined up like with their kettlebell, sort of one at a time, one person here, one person there, one person there, and they're going to kind of stay in their little area other than when they need to come over and do their 5 TRX rows. So based on, I mean, it's not everyone's going to have to be there at the exact same time, but we do have a ton of TRX rows, straps. We even have ones attached to the actual squat racks here and here. If you need to use those, go for it. For the gauntlet, we're going to actually kind of make sure that we kind of progress ourselves in this way. So the first group of people, they're going to start with their band skiers. They're going to be doing their band skiers around the post here. And then they immediately transition into a bear crawl, where they're going to take 30 whole seconds to make their way down there. So I don't want someone going there and then back or whatever. Like, they have to make it last 30 seconds to get down there. Hence the term crawl in there. So they go slowly down there, and then by the time they're down there, they're ready for their bike sprint. They can jump on the bike sprints, and then they work their way back and go from there. Let me just transition back to this one. If you do find that you have a lot of people doing the TRX rows at the same time, you can switch the TRX rows and the push-ups around for half the people. So let's say some people are going swings, walkouts, swings, and maybe they do push-ups here, swings, and then they do their row. You can just kind of mix them up, just so you can offset them, so you don't have everyone going there at the exact same time. Workout E, three period workout here. Again, we got our stations here where we're going to have them together in pairs. So we got to get down, so a kettlebell get down on one side, a kettlebell get down on the other side. Marching glute bridge, band face pulls, you just got to use those kind of near the post. And then a racked carry, where they're going to get a kettlebell up, again, racked, a half racked position, I guess it would be, where you have it on the right side, and then the left side, they're just walking back and forth. Station, and this would be a 30 second on, 15 second off deal. For the next one, we've got 6 different workout stations. We've got a left and a right step up. That's the only one that's kind of a unilateral one within it, but we'll just we'll show how to kind of do that big circuit. And then finally at the bottom, we have our conditioning complexes, where they get to either pick their implement of using a kettlebell, body weight, sandbag, or TRX. They get to sort of pick whichever implement they want, and then they're going to do a complex where they do 90 seconds straight. So they spend 30 seconds on exercise 1. So if we're doing the kettlebell, we're going to do a squat, alternating lunge, and then a swing. Then we get 30 seconds off, then we start over again. And if we look down and to the right, we've got our rounds, 4 rounds on, 4, where we'll be doing that complex 4 times with a 30-second break in between. So the layout of the gym for this workout, if we look at our athletic circuit here, again, we can kind of, we're obviously limited by our racked carry, so we're going to have people walking back and forth, setting out some cones at the 10-yard marks and stuff like that. So this area is going to be sort of used up for that. I would say get people to do their get-ups in this general area here, or even progressing over to here. And then we got our marching glute bridges and our band face pull-aparts right there. For the second, the strength circuit here, again, we can really kind of play around with whatever. Obviously, we're going to be somewhat restricted by our prone rows because we don't have too many of these. We have the 2 benches. We can also use a board across a squat rack if we want to. But so we'll say our prone rows are going to be sort of on this side of the post here, and then to make things easier, if we go there, then we have our hands-free sit-ups and Swiss ball leg curls just in an empty space here, and then we can do our step-ups over here. We can use kettlebells as weights, kind of makes it easy for there. And then for the final one, really everyone gets their own little space. If someone's obviously doing a TRX, they're going to have it over here, but you can get people lined up one beside the other, beside the other, beside the other. And I mean, this person can have a kettlebell, this person can be doing with the body weight, this person can be doing with the sandbag. It doesn't really matter. They're all doing their respective things, and the timer is just going the same for everyone. One thing to note of for the racked position, you want to take a look at this picture for when someone has to kind of walk back and forth. They're going to want to try to find this comfortable position, and this is just a great little tool or a resource to look at to see how exactly to use it. But by all means, ask your fellow coworkers for other tips and demos for this one.